Welcome to episode 45 of the Travel Calumet Original Podcast. I'm your host, Rick Sense, and joining me for today's episode are two guests. First is John Pakala, who is the Sommelier at Calumet County's Village Hearthstone, which is located in Hilbert. And I'll tell you, I'm sitting here in the restaurant right now with John and our other guests, who I'll introduce in just a few seconds. And I am looking at one of the most beautiful restaurant settings I have seen. Has the antique flavor and feel of a turn of the last century restaurant, but it has all the modern amenities to complement it. It's just really well done, very tasteful. And our other guest today is Angela Brandenburg-Halbach. Angela is the head of the marketing for the
and
restaurant.
Event coordinator, yep.
Yep, okay. And it's really an interesting story here, what's going on. And maybe, Angela, I'm going to start with you first. Could you maybe give listeners that maybe aren't familiar with the Village Hearthstone some background and some information about what it is all about here at Village Hearthstone?
Absolutely. Well, I can still remember the days when I was in middle school and they were building this building, which was back in 1997, coming here for some cheese curds after school with my friends. It's always been owned by the Gale family of Hilbert, but they've always hired a restaurant staff to maintain the day-to-day operations and the catering that they've done. They have had wonderful chefs here throughout the course of the lifetime of the restaurant. And yeah, we're just really excited that it's going to go on 30 years soon, and we're celebrating Chef Scott's 8th year here in the restaurant, which many people know him as a local chef who put himself through culinary school at the Fox Valley Tech. He grew up working in High Cliff Restaurant and went through culinary school, put himself there, and traveled the world kind of doing different tastings and seeing different things all over the country. And then he worked down in Chicago doing some bistro work down there, came back up here and brought his knowledge to the Fox Valley area. So he's been running the restaurant since 2021. He's been the executive chef here for 8 years in total. He left for a bit to go start Copper State Brewing Company just to get them off the ground in their first year. Prior to this, he was the one that was most widely recognized for his work at Houdini's Gastropub on Oneida Street in Appleton. So he's built a solid reputation, and we're really lucky to have him here in Hilbert, where he's close to his family. We're close to where we grew up, and he can get home at night to tuck his girls into bed.
So it's a locally owned, family-run restaurant, and it sounds like it's a locally owned family restaurant experience too.
Absolutely.
But more.
Yeah. We see so many people from town, and again, that's our extended family. It's first and foremost about how we can take care of the people of Hilbert, how we can not only help them have, the wonderful Sunday brunch after church on Sundays, but celebrate their birthdays, anniversaries. We get to know everybody by name. Many of our best customers are here every week with us. And it's also about taking care of the community. So it's about how we can help the clubs and organizations that need support financially to fundraise, and how we can help out the church and the schools. We're limited in the capacity of what catering events we can still do at this time from our staff perspective, but we'll shut down the restaurant for a good cause. And that's always been the priority of the Gale family, is that we're here to take care of Hilbert and the surrounding communities.
John, I have to ask you, how do you fit into this structure, the family, the local side of it? Do you have local ties?
I do. I'm from Brillion, and fitting in here in the restaurant, I just get to have all the fun. That's really what it comes down to. Listening to Angela, she puts in so much hard work. Scott does. Kayla, our pastry/sous chef, she does an amazing job. Alex behind the bar. We are a tight-knit group here. Our high school staff is fantastic, and it's a testament to the youth. A lot of people talk about how the youth don't have a work ethic or this. Maybe it's just us, but our staff, they seem to rise up to any challenge. They're willing to help out, not just each other, but the servers or in the kitchen or It could be down to even taking out the trash when it's technically not their job. Everybody, it's run like a big family. We're in each other's lives. We care for each other. We're interested to make sure that we're all doing well, whether that's mentally or physically. And it's a great team to be a part of. I'm not, I've been in restaurants in the past that have had a lot of animosity amongst front of house, back of house kind of things, and that's not the case here. Or maybe it's with the staff against ownership. Again, not the case here. And it's a wonderful thing to be a part of. It's a very it's the least stressful restaurant or work environment that I've really ever been in. In my capacity, it just makes everything easier. When you're talking about the different events and things like that, I've got a chef who makes wonderful food and knows the wine side of pairing, so it makes my job so much easier. Alex, the bar manager, he knows that he's just sent him a text like, this is what I'm looking for, and then he communicates and finds it all and makes sure it's all ready for me. It's absolutely brilliant. It's a pleasure to be a part of.
So with your background and your experience to date, your role here as sommelier is one that you kind of were brought into just naturally. Does it sound like, is that almost too cliche-ish to say it that way?
No, not at all. Not at all. A lot of it was kind of a marriage of convenience between Scott and myself, having a long working history together, both when we were working together in a restaurant, and then when he went one way and I went another way within the industry. We did multiple wine dinners where I was coming in from not part of his restaurant, but I was the one who was bringing the wines in, and I was the one talking. So we've always maintained that relationship. So when this all happened, he needed somebody. I was missing that kind of outlet, and I had continued doing a lot of private things, in-home things. I was doing things for corporate events, things like that, where I would just hire myself out personally. And then it was just beautiful being able to work with him again. He's a great friend. So yeah, it was a perfect union there.
So what led to the love of wine and what you do today?
I was blessed at a time when I didn't know that I would love wine to study in Italy. And that was actually before I was 21, but there I could drink. But seeing the integration of how wine, it was so much a part of everyday life. It was part of the culture. It's hard to talk about most European wines or beer or even spirits because it's so integrated into their culture, their food. An Italian coming here would probably be shocked that people would come out to dinner and expect to be gone within an hour. When you're looking at the average dinner being 2.5 hours, and that could be just for 3 courses, but it's slow, it's drawn out, you're drinking wine, you're having an aperitivo afterwards. I'll never forget the first day I was there, wandering around, and right where I was staying, there was this little school right in Trastevere, and the teacher walks out, and all the kids follow her. They go to the local cafe, and next thing you know, they're having watered-down wine with their sandwiches provided by the restaurant. And it was just this mind-opening experience. This is just part of the way they live. So that's really what got me interested in it. And then just being in restaurants and seeing the culture, I had a great mentor who really pushed me when I was young to explore it. He saw a talent in me that I didn't see at the time. And that led into the world of education, learning all about the different wine regions, the wine. That led me into distribution. That led me into running a winery, and then having it just be a part of life. So,
wine and wineries are really growing in popularity everywhere, but
yes.
Here in particular in Calumet County, I think of the wonderful wine collection that the Round Lake Farms has at Aaron's Nordic Center. I don't know if you had a chance to tour that area.
I popped over. It's right in my backyard. So.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. And then you got you got John Wolfel and Carrie Futch over at the Wolf and Fox Winery, and then you obviously have your experience here, where you're basing a whole part of your business, the idea of the restaurant having a chef's table that's focusing on the wine mixture of what goes best with the food being served.
Yes.
So, why do you think there's such an appreciation for fine wine in Calumet County?
I'd almost challenge it's not even a growing appreciation. I think it goes back to almost our roots in Calumet County. It's an expression like that the dirt is in your blood. This area has such a strong agricultural background. and that German influence as well, where you have going back 150 years ago, where it was the preservation of the fruits of your labor. There's always been a strong home brewing, home winemaking, whether it was fruit wines or grape wines, distilling before they started making that illegal. That was a huge presence in this county, and I think it's that tie of that culture, going back to what I was talking about with Italy. I think Calumet County has such a strong love of agriculture that they really appreciate. They can see the fact that wine is a farming product. It's not this beverage that's out there that you have to know so much about. That's hours of someone's blood, sweat, and tears that have gone into that glass of wine that you're, not literally, but and they can appreciate that. And I think that you see that in the small agritourism farms and things like is it Mulberry Lane over by St. John's, and you have Polly's Pumpkin Patch, and you have Wolfels, you have all these little spots, and I should know, is it Wolf Farms?
Yeah, Wolf Farms, yeah.
Them too. It's like these spots where it's like it's giving honor to the agricultural process, the farmers, and the county has changed a lot in the last few decades, but I think it's so much of the appreciation for these things is because we are from this county and we don't want to see agriculture. We don't want to see farming disappear, and so this is a new way of celebrating it. And that's where I think it's really coming from. I think it's not so much, they're having more refined taste or whatever else is, because think of Roland's Brewery over there. It's like he's always delivered a solid product. He never got into the craft beer craze of like distribution everywhere. He just stayed with a solid Wisconsin, Calumet County product, and he was proud of it. And that's why I think you're seeing that appreciation of those wines and seeing Calumet County and the work that you're doing, bringing people in and getting that notice being brought to some of these small businesses and these farming projects is so crucial, because that's what our county is. We're an agricultural county, and I think it's wonderful.
The people are set for growing grapes here in our community. I think you're spot on with that analysis, by the way. What about the land? Calumet County, is it suitable for grape growing?
Yes. Not all parts. Not all land's created equal. I think every farmer knows that too. You get a 40-acre plot, and 39 acres always do great, and that 1 acre just with drainage or something does terrible. But being part of that Niagara escarpment, we're part of the Niagara Ledge AVA, or American Viticultural Area, so we're a recognized grape growing region, which means that the soil and climate here produce qualities that you can't find in those same grapes that have grown elsewhere. And so I think you will see an expansion in this area into it, because it makes a lot of sense for smaller plots. Obviously, the dairy industry and the cash crop, they need other additional lands, but there's those small parcels that are out there that really suit themselves to those perennial crops. It could be grapes. I'm not one of those wine snobs who looks down on peach wine or apple wine or things like that. I think there's a place for those, and I think it's beautiful. They are amazing when it comes to pairing for desserts. I've used them before, and they work wonderfully. So, and heck, if you're in Hawaii, you can get pineapple wine. So, but I do see more towards the High Cliff area. That I could see that area being developed a little bit more, just with the drainage there and the soil quality. It makes sense. It is costly getting started, and it takes a lot of hard work. No one likes I've done it, being in February in Wisconsin, pruning grapevines. It can get rather cold, and so it's very labor intensive. It's not a mechanized industry as it is in certain other areas of the country here. But I could see it growing, and I hope it does. I really hope it does. And I give total props to everybody who's doing it right now, being on the forefront of an industry or a growing process in an area that hasn't been tried, and you don't have a lot of knowledge to go off of. It's very difficult. And so I think it's amazing that being one of those people who are pioneering it in this county. Go to Stephen Marie up at Parallel 44 up by the Kiwani area too. Like some of their journey and going from, well, no one's really marketing dry Wisconsin wines. Let's try to get on there. And that's not what Wisconsin was known for at the time. So taking those big leaps like that in this wine industry not only challenging, but it's, in my mind, almost heroic, because, you don't have a knowledge base to go off of. It's trial and error, and it's scary for a lot of people.
So Village Hearthstone started out as kind of an intimate neighborhood, community-wide restaurant that was here to serve the folks locally, and also owned by people who love wine, and that is one of the staples here. So how have you worked wine into your offerings here? You know, in a lot of major cities across the United States, it's a pretty big deal, and we're doing that right here in Hilbert, Wisconsin. Can you maybe talk about how that marriage has happened and what all happens with those dinners?
I just want to talk about how it evolved to a chef's dinner.
Of course.
We'd always been known at the Village Hearthstone. I can remember years ago where we'd attend, and it would be a sellout event of a 5-course dinner put on by the executive chef. And they would close the restaurant. It would only be that sort of dinner for the night, and you could have the pairings of beverages or not. When COVID happened, we know that the industry changed significantly. So we could no longer do big, large events for a long time. So in order to continue with that way of doing things and offer that fine dining experience, 5-course dinner, we said, what can we do? And at the same time, organizations were coming to us asking for large ticket items in raffle and large auction items. So what Chef Scott said was, well, why don't we just pare it down to an 8-person dinner? Our 5-course dinner will include the wines. It's a fine dining experience, and it's a $1,000. Now it's up to a $1,200 value, and they gave them to a lot of great schools, and they'd raffle them off for anywhere between $3,000 to $5,000. I mean, they've really gone for some significant amounts and achieved what I think the Gale family wanted to also do, was enable fundraisers here. And so we kept it going that way. And it evolved to, if we're doing these for the fundraisers, we really need to open these to the public and give everybody the opportunity to do it. And it really just was icing on the cake when John came on staff last year, 2 years ago, and he started just wherever he was needed, and afloat in the kitchen to helping in the front of the house, and with him really evolving and saying, yeah, I'll take the lead on these wine dinners. His passion just reignited all over again, and John took it to the next level.
Yeah, in the chef table are really Angela's brainchild. We had brainstormed with certain things, and she will try to sell herself short on certain things, but she has done an amazing job marketing, trying to promote the restaurant in a way that isn't changing what the restaurant is, but really getting that voice out there. And that process of the dinners and the pairings and everything else, it really is, I know I briefly touched on it, but it really goes back to the talent of everybody. That's why I say I can have all the fun, because I know that Scott has so much experience with it that he's not going to, like, when he tells me this is what I'm making, I know what that sauce is. I know that there's not going to be a surprise ingredient. Let's say I threw in some mint and I didn't tell you about it. Like, the communication is such that it makes it very easy, where I could take that menu and say, hey, you know what, I'm going to do all Argentinian wines with that menu. Or I'll switch it up and say, I'll do all European Old World style wines. And it gives me the creativity and the ability to really explore what a wine can do. Because my end goal isn't to showcase how much I may know about a particular wine, but it's to facilitate a great time with guests, really taking that European model of, hey, this is a memory that's being built here. Whether it's, we have family and friends that are coming in. We've had one just in the last 2 months where it was a business owner with his clients that had come in for one. And so each one is a little bit different, but it's facilitating that memory and building that relationship there. That is the key focal point of every dinner. Scott would say probably the exact opposite. He just wants the wines to shine. I just want his food to shine. Same with Kayla with her desserts. She's amazing. She's really an artist with it. And then Alex behind the bar with his knowledge too. So we've had some where people say, hey, we're not really wine drinkers. Is there a way that we can incorporate maybe a beer or a cocktail into one of the courses and say, well, it's a wine dinner, and I talk with him, and he'll come up with a wine-based cocktail for the dessert course, or maybe and he'll resurrect some drink recipe from the 1920s for the with a champagne twist to it that would be the first course. So it's really a team effort here to just provide the best experience that we can for our guests. There's no ego anywhere in it. It's just it's very fun for us, and we just want to showcase the best we can, not only for ourselves and for our restaurant, but for the Gales, and really just keep bringing people into this county and into Hilbert. We love it. So
I think one of the cool things is that when you have these dinners, they're not often a private room. They're right smack dab in the middle of the house restaurant.
So sometimes it can be a little bit difficult at times. Let's say we've had some where every table was full, and there's an 8-course kind of chef's table happening right dead center. But it also brings up a lot of interesting conversations with other tables, because all of a sudden now they're wondering what's going on over there, and there's been multiple times where I've walked over with the same wine because they like to just pour them a little sample so they could try it if they're wine drinkers, so it's a wonderful experience. It really is, and it's fun for all of us. It gets sometimes if you have a lot of kids, it gets a little bit louder. So it's more like a one-on-one conversation with each person at the table if they can't all hear me at once. But
so in addition to the chef's dinner, what other special events do you do here at the Village Hearthstone?
I'm glad you asked, Rick.
Okay.
We've been doing special events at Village Hearthstone since it opened its doors. We do anything from large group dinners to private parties held in our Pfister room, which is a couple doors down within the same building, the chef's table wine experience. Those are our 3 primary styles of events that we can do. Anything over a 10-person dinner that we can have you call ahead in advance and make a reservation for, because we serve parties up to 10 daily. But due to the size of our staff and dining room, we really want people knowing we want you to come with 20 people. We just want to know in advance. And how can we make this an event that's extra special for you? So we've had parties, birthday parties that have shown up for a ride on the trolley, and then they'll have dining experience out on the patio in summer. We use the Pfister room for anything from showers and rehearsal dinners to corporate events. We had Worthington here last month. Class reunions. We have partnered with the school. We have a very close relationship with a lot of the staff at the school. They join us on a regular basis for Friday night dinners with their family. We're talking with them more about how we can help them in their needs, but also every time they have a large class reunion from 1964, they're giving tours at the school and to showcase how all of the renovations have happened over the years and what they're still planning to do, and then they come here for lunch. So it's the perfect pairing that we can definitely offer our dining room here for any private party. We just want to know that in advance. A lot of times we'll offer a limited private menu, and we set that up. And we also can offer this not just for the chef's table experience, but we've started what's kind of like a spin-off dinner. So it's not to the caliber and to the same template that, hey, here's our 8-person chef's dinner and here's your wine pairings, but hey, I want to come in for a pizza party with 10 to 12 people, and let's have cocktails, appetizers, and dessert. And then that's when John and Alex go crazy on making the cocktails that pair with each course too. So that's been a fun and exciting experience. We have local people that join us every week as regulars, and they are celebrating a special occasion, and it was a retirement party. They just wanted their intimate family, the kids. We have 6 guests, but we want a more elevated entree experience. That's not something that's on our daily menu at this time. Once we scaled back a little bit after COVID, we really focused on our bread and butter, great appetizers, great wood-fired pizzas, sandwiches, Friday fish fry, and desserts. We definitely still run a monthly entree or two that we put out, we promote on Facebook. That's always the best way to see what's the latest and greatest at the Village Hearthstone. But what this retirement party wanted was, again, more of a 4-course. We want steak and lobster. And for anybody that asked in a request to set up a special event, whether it's 2 people or 20 people, or again, we can treat up to 50, we can order anything in advance notice, and we'll write a specialty menu for it. So what taking on this position within the last year has really been a motto that I've embraced is special events at this Village Hearthstone. We specialize in special. Just let us know what you want, and if it's outside of our daily menu, come talk to us. As long as it's in advance, we want to make it special to you, because we don't have, again, the ability that we used to do large wedding caterings out at Mulberry Farms. It's just not something our staff is adequately prepared for. We do 1 or 2 of those, again, to help the charities that are nearest and dearest to our heart every year. But beyond that, we have a really skilled team that's exactly like family. We've honed our skills. Scott's written a timeless classic menu with really great products, and he just believes in cooking the best food, simple food with the greatest ingredients, and that's what makes it taste so great. We have people that'll come, and I'll never forget this one day. I just brought the kids out to have lunch here and see Dad while he was taking a break from the kitchen. And so he was sitting with us, and this guy from across the dining room got up, walked over, and goes, "Are you the chef here?" And Scott goes, "Yeah." And he goes, "I just have to tell you, man, I take such heat for ordering a mushroom and Swiss burger every single place we go. We travel around the lake, around the state, almost every Saturday, the 4 of us out riding bikes, and I always get a mushroom and Swiss burger. Doesn't matter, I can't stray from it." He goes, "I want to let you know this is the best mushroom and Swiss burger I've ever had in my life. And I would put this up against any burger I've ever had anywhere."
So you do the fine dining, but you do everyday dining as well.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
we're more of an everyday that likes to sometimes put a tuxedo on.
Okay, all right.
I would say we're the classic Friday fish fry with a really good burnt sugar old fashioned. So
I'm sorry. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
we do the classics. We do the classics really well, and then there's a signature style to the Hearthstone that just kicks it up a notch.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, that's really what it is. It's like we keep it simple, and then every now and then we're like, let's have some fun.
So if any of that sounds fun to you listeners, you gotta be stopping out here in Hilbert for this experience. It's pretty cool. And with summer just around the corner, you've got this beautiful deck area out here. I'm sure that's packed on most evenings that you grow
If the
up in.
weather, Wisconsin will just wait 10 minutes. It'll probably be open if it's raining, so don't worry.
Love the feedback of our customers. Love everybody who's chiming in on Facebook and following us there. We're trying to keep everybody as updated as we can. We have our e-newsletters rolling again. And the Facebook is constantly going. So we have a number of contests and giveaways. Stay in touch with us, and you'll see what's coming.
And how can people do that best? What web addresses? What's your Facebook handle?
Yeah, it's definitely just visit www.villagehearthstone.com. Check us out on Facebook under Village Hearthstone. The reviews are out there.
The
I
most
think they
important thing
speak
is
for
to
themselves.
stop by them.
Yeah.
Stop by.
326 West Main Street of Hilbert. You can't miss us. We're right here.
Well, I would be remiss with having a wine expert on the show without asking that person what his personal favorite wine was. So, John, what are your favorite wines? Maybe I shouldn't just limit you to one.
My favorite wine is champagne.
Champagne.
I love champagne. Outside of that, I love Southern French and anything Southern French, that would be white or red. And then I love Spanish wines as well. But champagne, I tell us when it comes to pairings, just because I know we talked a lot about wine stuff, is I always tell everybody, drink what you like with what you like to eat. So my favorite food is a cheeseburger. My favorite wine is champagne. It always tastes great to me. It's a pairing that I've been made fun of many, many times, but it always tastes great to me, so that's where I always start.
And now you have this wonderful deck out here, as we mentioned before, but for the listeners at home that maybe aren't going to be able to make it down to Hilbert for a while, and they have some friends over and they're going to be sitting out on their own individual patios, what kind of wines would you recommend for them to entertain their friends?
If you're feeling adventurous, especially if you're a guy, I would go with a rosé. Rosés are always fantastic. Alex and I will be doing up batches of sangria, fresh-made sangria, for the patio this summer. I think it's always a great bet. Otherwise, when you're those hot days, I would go with like a New Zealand Sauv Blanc, something that has got a little bit of saltiness almost to it, that minerality. Really kind of makes you feel like you're quenching your thirst at the same time as you're having fun. I'd stick away from any heavy reds unless it's your favorite thing to drink, just because they can make you feel even more hot. But I love, but sparkling wine. Sparkling wine always goes great, but that's what I would stick to.
All right. And Angela, one more time, what's the website address for everybody that might have some more interest to learn more? Where can they go on the web?
Absolutely. If you ever want to reach us, visit our website, www.villagehearthstone.com. There's a contact page and an info form, or email us at info@villagehearthstone.com. You can also use Facebook Messenger. We're always active on there, posting at least daily. People have been raving about bringing our atmosphere and our ambiance online with, if you're a history buff and you love our antiques, check out our Facebook page. We've had a lot of people sharing our history at the Hearthstone posts, where you can see a lot of our photographs, black and white photographs, up close and personal. I know it's been definitely a huge crowd pleaser, as well as getting to know our staff a little bit better. So along with our entrees, desserts, and any featured drinks, we're always changing up and tweaking those menu items. We want to keep our customers and guests as informed as possible, and just, again, look for any insight and favorite things that you are looking for from us. We want to make your special events at the Village Hearthstone extra special. So how can we do that? From your birthday to your anniversary party, rehearsal dinners, showers. Again, no occasion at all, but you just want a really good dinner, come check out our Chef's Table Wine Dinner. It's absolutely phenomenal. You'll have you and your guests raving for months on end. Something you can't find anywhere else, especially for what the value package is that we offer it. It's only $150. If you were to find this anywhere else, even in the Valley, you're looking at $200 or more. And plan your next special event here at the Village Hearthstone with us. We'd love to see you for those, and any day of the week otherwise. We're open Wednesday through Sunday.
All right. Well, Angela, John, thank you so much for both being on the podcast today. I've certainly enjoyed it. I'm learning more about the facility here and the great opportunity for some very great wine, some great food. And I just wish you all the best as you continue forward with what you're offering here at Village Hearthstone. And listeners, thanks for tuning in to the episode number 45, and please make sure that you check out the other 44 episodes of the Travel Calumet Original Podcast by clicking on the microphone on the homepage of travelcalumet.com. And if you liked what you heard today or on previous episodes, please help us spread the word on all the great things taking place here in Calumet County, like the Chef's Table Wine Experience at Village Hearthstone. Please invite a couple of friends to listen, stop by Calumet County, see an attraction, and just to share the podcast as well with those that you know. Thank you for listening, and until next time.